In today's episode of Reset Monday, we are tackling a major issue. Why do so many people stop their New Year's resolutions? In fact, January 10th is actually named Quitter's Day because that's when most people quit their New Year's resolutions. So, why is that? And are you quitting, or is this something you really want to step into and make happen for your life? We all want something better, but we have to understand, what is it that makes us stop? So let's go ahead and dive into it. Grab a glass of water and let's make sure you hit your resolutions. So, first of all, with a little statistics, 80% of people will quit their resolutions by February 1st, with most of them quitting by January 10th. In fact, the gyms empty out, the yoga studios empty out, your journal sits completely unopened, and we just stop. And so, in order to understand why we quit, I'm going to talk to you about some principles of psychology that will help you be able to understand the why of why we don't step into it. But then I'm going to talk about 5 principles that are really going to help you make sure that you step into your future and you reset and reignite your New Year's resolutions, so that hopefully by next year, you no longer call them a New Year's resolution. They are just part of your life. So, in order to understand our first failure, the biggest thing is we tend to set unrealistic goals. Think about it. These goals, they're lofty, they're super far out there. And I love a good goal. I love something that is just so, as Jack Canfield would say, big, hairy, audacious goals. I love that concept, but that doesn't mean that it's going to happen overnight. So if your goals are so big that you can't quite see the end of that goal and how you're going to get there, then it's like you have to chunk it down. So think about this. If you've never run a mile, you're not going to run a marathon. So we have to think about, what would that look like? Maybe you start walking first. Then maybe you can start to do a little bit of circuit training, maybe a little bit of running with the walking. Eventually you can start running, and ultimately you can get training so you can run that marathon. But you're not just going to run a marathon if you've never run before. The second thing is instant gratification. This is huge. Everyone wants that instant fix, the immediate feedback. You want to be able to eat one meal and then say that you've lost 10 pounds. That's not going to happen. We know that. That's logic. Everybody knows that. But what happens in this instant gratification world, our brains are wired to get that quick fix. And so we have to make sure that we're tapping into the discipline piece. I've been talking about discipline. We can be motivated, but motivation will not last. It's the discipline. So make sure that you're just taking the active steps to do the thing that you want to do, so that ultimately in time, it will be long-term gratification, but it won't happen instantaneously. And then we have this all or nothing thinking. This is when people, let's say you start a food plan, you start an exercise plan, you miss a couple of days, you eat something indulgent, and now suddenly you are beating yourself up over it. And that's not healthy either. That creates stress, and then that allows you to lose your motivation as well. And it allows you to just not feel like you even want to be disciplined about it. You think, oh, geez, I ate a cookie, so I might as well give up the whole thing. Well, that's not how life goes. You are going to have missteps. And so accepting that there are missteps and giving yourself some grace, that life is really about taking 3 steps forward, and there's going to be a misstep. You're probably going to have 1 step back, maybe sometimes 2. But the object is make sure you are continuing to move forward in life. And then everything is about the internal motivation. When someone is telling us we need to do something, that's external motivation. And if you have these external factors, like let's say your spouse wants you to get up and start exercising, wants you to start adopting healthy lifestyle habits. If this isn't something that you want for yourself, it's going to be very difficult for you to adopt those habits. In fact, I work with a lot of people and they get very frustrated at their spouses. They really just want the best for their loved ones. And it's very, very difficult on your partner when you are not taking care of yourself. So think about, what would that life with your partner look like if you could actually have the life you wanted, the health life that you wanted, and how much better that relationship would be. You wouldn't have that stress and strain between you. You'd be able to really live this beautifully optimized, vital life. So that's why we end up quitting. We've got unrealistic goals, instant gratification, all or nothing thinking, and then external forces coming at us. Now let's go ahead and let's look at the 5 things that we can tap into that are actually going to help create success. Now, I like to call these micro resolutions. So if you can take whatever the thing is that you want to do and create little tiny things so that they're small goals, they're small, very easily achievable goals. So let's say instead of, I'm going to go to the gym and work out every day, maybe you just need to get up and take a walk. Maybe you get up from your desk once an hour and you do 10 air squats or 10 chair squats, or maybe you just walk from one side of your house to the next. Or if you're back to work in a building, maybe you just walk down the hall and back. Starting to implement movement into your life can actually start to get you inspired to then go to the gym and start working out every day. But sometimes you need those little chunks to make you feel like you're achieving something. And if you have something that, a watch or an Oura ring, you'll be able to track your steps and be able to see how much movement and how many calories you've burned. And a lot of times that feedback helps your brain to be able to continue to tap in. The other thing I like to call is habit stacking. So habit stacking is when you do something every day. So let's say you want to drink more water. But the first thing you do in the morning is you get up and you drink a cup of coffee. Well, if you told yourself you can't have the coffee until you drink a big glass of water, which you should be doing anyway, that is habit stacking. So you're going to take this really good habit and you're going to stack it into something that you do, another habit. And I'm not saying coffee is a bad habit, but some people drink way too much coffee. But if you can tack it onto that, or let's say you want to be journaling every evening. What if you just made it a habit? You have a sticky note on your mirror. So when you go and you brush your teeth, that sticky note's going to remind you, now you have to go and start journaling. And you open up that journal and you want to just put in a couple of things in there that talk about gratitude for the day. What 3 things do you feel grateful for? And what 3 things would you like to see happen the next day for your gratitude? Maybe you just have gratitude that you drank an extra cup of water that day. The other thing that I want you to do, this is number 3, is reframe your setbacks as data. So it's always a learning. So think of setbacks not as failure, but as information. So this is going to be feedback for you so that they're not really mistakes. You're either learning, you're moving forward, or you're learning something. And so everything you do, I want it to be a learning process for you. So if you miss a workout or you eat something that you feel is not on the plan, you just want to ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I adjust and how can I move on? What was it that made me slip off the rails? Was I stressed out? Did I have an argument with my spouse, my kids? Did I have a rough day at work? What are the things that you can start to realize that are triggers for you that make you fall off the rails? And once you start to know what your triggers are, then you'll be able to tap into that and know when something could potentially derail you, and you'll be more conscious of making sure that it doesn't. So then number 4 is we want to anchor our goals to our core values. So think about it this way. We can have surface level goals. There's so many things that don't go deep within our neurology. And that oftentimes is why we don't stick to things they're not going to matter that much to us in the long run. But think about why you want to change. What is it about these changes that you're telling yourself you'd like to make that how will they impact your life in the long run? And maybe it's not necessarily about losing weight, but maybe it's about you want to feel energetic. You want to be able to do really cool stuff with your kids and go hiking and biking and climb mountains. And, I think about when I took my daughter out to Phoenix last year, and I was able to climb up Cathedral Rock with her. I'm 58 years old, which I don't feel old by any means, but there are many, many people who are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s who couldn't make even part of that hike. And I made it all the way to the top of Cathedral Rock. And if you don't know what Cathedral Rock is, it is the most energetic, most beautiful place in Sedona. And it's a climb, it's a hike, and it is scary. And there's a lot of bouldering, and it wasn't easy, but I did it anyway. And it's because I live this life that my why is to be able to do really cool stuff like that till the day I die. So think about that. What is that ultimate why for you, and how do you see your future? So now we get to number 5. And number 5, this one is going to be the big game changer. Now it seems super simple, and you're going to say to me, well, that's dumb. Okay, it's not dumb. I want you to think about having a weekly reset ritual with yourself. Take 10 minutes every Sunday. Now, think about this. We have staff meetings at work. We have meetings at work to discuss the staff meetings. We have meetings all the time at our jobs so that we can make sure we're dialing in our processes, make sure that we're being as productive as we can. What are sales like? Because we're always looking to improve at our jobs. So how can we never have these meetings with ourselves? So this is what I want you to think about. We tend to do all of these things for all the outside stuff. But if we can take some of these principles and apply it to our own lives, we can really start to see a level of productivity and optimization in our own health. And so that's what you're going to do every Sunday. You get that journal, you have a 10-minute, just sit with 10 minutes and just write from the week. Now, personally, I like to write each evening, and I don't always make it every single night. I probably journal 3 to 4 nights out of 7, but it's better than 0. And it allows me that time to be able to just brain dump, to be able to know what worked, what didn't, what were there any fears that I had that day? What were the successes? What are things that I really need to look at so that I can make sure that I am tapping in and optimizing myself? All right. So just to recap, create micro resolutions, chunk it down, make them small, stack your habits. So do things, attach new habits onto things that you already do. Reframe your setbacks as data. Remember, that's a learning process for you. Anchor your goals to your core values. Make sure you know why you want to do these things. And then, of course, having that weekly reset ritual, that 10-minute staff meeting with yourself that can absolutely help to change the trajectory of your life. Okay, you guys, there you have it. Those are your 5 powerful ways to turn Quitter's Day into another Reset Monday. And just remember, this is not about perfection. It is about progress. And that if you can just take these small steps, they're going to lead to massive changes in your future. I promise you. And then hopefully by next year, a New Year's resolution will no longer be a New Year's resolution. It will just be a part of your life. So I'm going to leave you with one challenge. And I want you to let me know in the comments, which one principle did I discuss today that really resonated with you? Which one do you think you'd like to start with first? Because you don't even need to do all 5. You just need to start with one, and then again, start stacking those habits onto each other. So I would love to hear your success stories. Let me know. Reach out. You can also hit the link in the comments, which will can send you my newsletter. And you can also schedule a coaching session with me if you're looking for nutrition coaching. Let's make sure that we get you really super optimized so that you can live this vibrant, vital life that you so deserve, so you can be picking up your kids, your grandkids, and climbing epic mountains with your loved ones. So all right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Don't be a quitter. Just stop quitting. Let's make sure we tap into it. And I appreciate you being here. I will see you on the next one. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with someone you know that could use this information.